Please turn on your camera. Erin and Tabitha, please turn on your camera. Erin and Tabitha, could you hear my voice? Okay, thank you. Tabitha? Okay. So please turn on your camera before we can start the lecture. Kalista and Tabitha, please turn on your camera. Thank you. Okay, good. So good morning all, and thank you for attending today's lecture. Now, before we start our lecture today, I would like you to present your budget, okay, to the class. So let's start with group 3, which is Kalista, Francisco, and Hugo. So please present your budget. Francisco, can you hear my voice?
Okay, so
On.
this is, can you hear my voice?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So first, this is about the human resource. We have project manager. The measure the salary is based on days. So we calculated with the holiday. I mean we did not include the holidays, weekend, and yeah. So it is 120 days. The cost is 400,074 155 per day, and then the total is like this one.
Let me ask you this. In term of rank, who is higher, project manager, system analyst, or IT manager?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Okay, in term of rank, who is higher, the project, because they have the same salary here. In any project, the project manager should be paid the highest.
Okay.
Okay. Analyst is not actually a managerial position. They are functional position, so they should be below any function that or any position that having manager in the term. So I don't know what this IT manager would do, but they should be higher than the analyst. Okay. And also in terms of daily rates, I believe this is daily rate, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so in terms of daily rates, software programmer, database programmer, technician should be lower than the project manager.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so where did you get the number? The source of these numbers?
From Inkindo in year 2021.
Okay, see, system analyst. Yeah, this is project salary. This is odd. They should not be the same. Okay. Especially with and the requirement for project manager is only like D3, right? While the software programmer D4. It's the other way around. I think the project manager and system analyst or IT manager, they should be at least hold bachelor degree. Okay, so I don't think that this is realistic number. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you need to dig more to find another sources because I doubt it. Because, like I said, project manager is the one person who responsible for the delivery and also failure of project. So he or she should be paid the highest. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Group 3. Now let's go to group 2. Lodea, Ivana, and Erin. Please present your budget. Okay. Internet access, okay, recipient, okay.
Sorry, sir. Is my screen is?
Yeah, I can see the screen. Okay, can you show me the salary part? Because this is usually the trickiest part of the budget?
I think I had a problem with sir.
Okay. Okay. Project manager. IT department. Can you elaborate why IT department?
Sorry, sir. Can you repeat your question?
There is hear my
I cannot hear your voice clearly.
so this IT department doing? What's the function of this IT department? Anybody else? Okay, go ahead.
For the IT department, it's like the programmer, the graphic design, and they make the program that develop in our project.
Okay, so because the term IT department means they are the people who manage IT, not development. Okay, so you should change that into development or a developer or something. And this is 6 million. This is per person or per group?
Per person, sir.
So it doesn't add up. If you 6 million times 4, it should be 24 instead of 36.
Oh yeah. Maybe
And also this one, 8 million. Wait, this is 48. I don't think this is consistent in your calculation. Okay. See? 5, 2, you said this 30.
Sorry, sir, we calculate
Yeah.
for 6 months. Like there are 8,000 per month, so it is
8 million.
8 multiplied by 6.
Okay. Okay. And this is 6 by. But you said that this
And then
6 million is per person, right?
no, first we calculate per month, and then we also calculate per person. Like example, there are 6,000, 6 million, and then it is for 6 months. So we just multiply by 6.
Okay, so this kind of number will make a lot of people confused. Okay, so, and you need to put some kind of heading here that because this is different from say printer ink. Okay. Okay, so you need to make sure that your calculation doesn't create confusion because I didn't understand this. And remind me again, what is your software? What is your system you built? What kind of system you develop? What kind of system you?
It is like the service applications.
Okay.
So just like we distribute we distribute the fruits or the sayur-sayuran from the petani itself, and then we distribute for people.
Okay. So, yeah, because I'm a bit concerned about the budget, which is more than ₹500 million. It's probably okay, especially later on when you calculate the cost and benefit of your system, but that's fine. Okay, thank you. So you just need to make sure that your calculation is consistent and also does not create any confusion with the readers. Okay, so you need to make sure what this column for, what this column for, and how you to calculate them, because I find it a bit inconsistent. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Okay,
thank
sir.
you.
Thank you.
Group
Yes,
one,
sir.
welcome. Tabita and Rahma. Okay. So how much for the total cost of the project? 1 billion. Okay. Okay. Well, obviously application is not cheap, but later on you need to really look at the numbers and calculate it whether the cost can be justified. Okay, but at this stage I will accept all your budget. Okay, so that's not a problem with that. Okay, thank you for that. Thank you, group one. Okay, that's good. Now what you need to do is to create a work breakdown structure. This is the detailed activity. So you have 4 phases of project management, right? From the initiation to closing, planning, execution. So you need to create a more detailed work breakdown structure. So for example, in planning, what are the activities on planning? How long does it take? Okay, and so on and so forth. So you need to create those work breakdown structure and also a Gantt chart to show your plan, to show your development plan. Okay. Usually, the easiest way to create this is using Microsoft Project. Unfortunately, the license for Microsoft Project that our university had doesn't cover students. Okay, so there are only limited number of licenses that can be used. I could not share it to you because I'm not authorized to share it with you. So as replacement, I already put in the assignment section below the assignment. So this is the work breakdown structure. Okay, you may use any ability to make Gantt chart, but I have preferred to use. So I prefer you to use Microsoft Excel, but if you use any other software to create Gantt chart, be my guest. As long as I can open the Gantt chart, say you use, I don't know, there is a software called Primavera that usually being used by Faculty of Engineering for building project management. Okay, so you may use that, but you need to submit the file that I can open, and that's usually in form of pictures or PDF or documents or Excel. So, but I give you alternative of using Microsoft Excel. Okay, and if you look at the situs kuliah, I'll share it to you now. So if you look at the assignment here, work breakdown structure here, there is a link, Gantt chart with Microsoft Excel. So this is a way of you to develop a Gantt chart using Microsoft Excel. Okay, and you already had the 4 phases of management project. What you need to do now is to break down those phases into smaller and more detailed activities or tasks. Okay, so this is how you can make a Gantt chart with Microsoft Excel. Okay, just read this link and then create your Gantt chart. Any question about that? About the assignment? Okay. I believe you already familiar with Microsoft Excel, so it should not be any problem following the instruction if you choose to use Microsoft Excel. Okay, now let's start our lecture today. So today we will discuss the okay, so determining system requirement. Okay, so basically system requirements, we define, we decided, and we make sure what are the system supposed to do. Okay, so what kind of functionality user like from a system? What kind of functionalities that should be on a system? Okay, what kind of feature should be on a system? What kind of security should be on the system? Okay, so we are starting with the analysis part now. So we are leaving, we left the planning last week, and now we start the analysis. Okay. Now, this is the most critical part of system development. Okay. Why? Because from previous experience, 70% of system problem can be traced back to analysis phase or requirements phase. If you later decided to learn about information system development, you will hear 2 different terms that actually meaning the same thing. The first one is system analysis. You already familiar, which is you analyze the old system and came up with new system. Okay. In software engineering or informatics world, not business like ours, system analysis is not really a popular term. They prefer the term requirements engineering, but actually requirements engineering and system analysis is, well, it's actually the same thing. Okay. The end goal of both system analysis and requirements engineering is to create a list of requirements for the new system. Okay. Okay. So just for you, so just you know, you can later when you came up or reading the term requirements engineering, that's the engineering faculty or engineering people call system analysis. Okay, so who conducts system analysis? Obviously, this is the system analyst. Okay, and who the system analyst will communicate to gather the requirement or determining the requirement, obviously the users and any other stakeholders. So to create a good analysis report or determining good requirements, a system analyst has to have these following characteristics. First, they have to be impertinent. You question everything. Don't accept whatever users or stakeholders said in their face value. You need to be critical. Okay. I'm not saying that the stakeholders lie or deceiving, no, but people seeing the same thing from their own perspective and can come up with different story. Okay. For example, for some people, waiting food to be cooked 30 minutes is too long, but for some other people, 30 minutes is nothing. Okay, so it depends on the person. Is 1 million rupiah a lot of money? Depends. For primary school students, that's probably quite a lot. But for you, 1 million is probably just so-so. Okay. For the richest man in the world, 1 million rupiah is nothing. Okay, so that's why people have their different will have their own opinion, will have their own perception that will need to be checked. Okay, and this is the problem with I often found with my students who wrote their thesis on information system development. Okay, so they interview the user and the user said, the system is so slow. So my student immediately said, the problem is the system is slow. Okay. So, but what is slow? Is Facebook slow? Perhaps. Is Google slow? Possibly. Okay, but who determines what is slow and what is fast? What's constitute or what's the standard for slow or fast? For example, when I was working at photographer.net, once the user click something, the next page that he or she click should be appears less than 0.05 second. Okay, so less than half a second. That's the standard for fast. If it's 0.001 second, that's fast. But if it's 0.6 second, although it's just 0.6 second, that's slow. Okay, so there should be any standard. That's just one example. Okay. Another example, one user complained that the system often crash. Okay, so yeah, probably, but why it's crash? Is it a software issue because of the software being poorly written? Or is it hardware issue because there is a broken hardware? Or is there any other issue? Probably the user who could not use the system. Okay, so different problem should be critically analyzed to find the root cause of that problem. Don't just believe whatever the client said. Okay, that's impertinence. Impartiality, consider all issues to find the best organizational solution. Some people will immediately determine, oh, this is the solution. Oh, we need accounting system. Oh, use MIOB. Oh, use Quicken. Oh, use something else. Okay, but that's not the good answer. The good answer is to actually consider everything. Okay. For example, if I need you to move 1 ton of sand from Klaten to Wates, you probably think use truck. Okay, but is truck really the best solution? Because you can use truck, you can use pickup, you can use train, for example. You can also use helicopter. Nobody said about cost, for example. Okay, so consider everything. Okay. Even something that's highly unlikely probably could be done. Okay. Relaxing constraint. Assume anything is possible, similar to the second point. Okay. Don't get restricted by the current technology. So this is what a good examples. There is, if you're familiar with Linux, the operating system, okay. Linux was developed by a person called Linus Torvalds. Okay, so when Linus Torvalds managing the development of Linux a few years ago, you know that there are plenty of people, hundreds of people involved in developing Linux. So and then they will propose to Linus Torvalds, add this feature, fix this one, change this one, so everything. And actually, when a software being developed, there are plenty of different versions of the software. For example, this day you have version 1 and you add 100 new features, it will become version 1.1, and then the next day it will become 1.2 and so on. A software which called control version. Control version means a software that can tell you this Linux is came from which date and containing how many features. So what's the difference between version 1 and version 2? Which one is the newest, which one is the oldest? So that's the control version. Unfortunately, the software that being used by Linus Torvalds at that time suddenly changed, and Linus Torvalds doesn't like it. He hated it. And Linus Torvalds is quite vocal and outspoken. If he don't like anything, he talk up and loud. Okay. So anyway, he didn't like what the software producer did to their product. So what happened was, instead of constrained by the new software, new version of the software, and by the way, the software that Linus used was commercial software. So Linux Foundation, where Linux was developed, had to pay. So what happened was, Linus Torvalds versioning software. If you probably heard somebody say Git, G-I-T, that's the one that being built by Linus. And now Git has been used worldwide and as a standard for system development. Okay, so don't be constrained by the current condition, by the current technology. Okay, something might come up next week or next month that can help you achieving whatever the system want to do. Okay, attention to detail. Every fact must fit. Again, this is because you consider everything and you question everything. Okay, and reframing. Challenge yourself to a new ways. Okay. Don't be stuck to routine. Okay? Every system that you build will be unique. Although system like although application like Tokopedia, Bukalapak, Gojek, and everything they seems to be similar. Okay? Why Tokopedia, Gojek can be succeed? Because they challenge themselves to find a new ways. Like when Pak Nadiem founded Gojek, he didn't just accept that Uber is the way to go using car, but he looked at opportunities in Indonesia and he found motorcycles. Probably in the future, who knows what kind of mode of transportation. Like Uber, they can develop Uber cars, Uber ride, and also they develop Uber for helicopter, for example, things like that. So always challenge, never ever stuck to routine. Okay. Every problem, every system is unique, and you should approach them with this. Okay. So what's the deliverable for requirement determination? From interview and observation, this is the way you gather data. You will have interview transcript, observation note, and meeting minutes. From existing written documents, from mission statement, business form, procedure manuals. Again, sometimes the problem with the system, the old system, is not the old system itself, but people or user didn't follow the proper procedures. Okay. So if they didn't follow the proper procedures to use the system, that might be a problem. For example, remember when every semester before you go to class registration system, you have to pay your tuition fee, the fixed cost, okay, not the variable one. Okay, unless you re-register and also pay that fee, you won't be able to attend or using the class registration system. Okay, so that's more procedures. You have to follow that. If you fail to follow that, there will be problems. There will be consequences. Okay, job description, training manual, system. Sometimes the people who use the system could not use the system properly. Why? Because there were lack of manuals, lack of training. And instead of changing the system, you probably want to change the manuals or change the training program. Okay. Instead of changing the system, you probably want to educate the users, things like that. And changing training manual and training program is a lot cheaper than change the whole system altogether. Okay, so this is it. So how to determine the requirement? This is the traditional method. First, interview individual. Second, interview group. 3, observing workers, and studying business document. Okay, so interviewing. A good system analyst should be a good listener. Instead of leading the users or whoever you interview, you need to listen to what they say. Okay, it's not necessarily true. I mean, it's not necessarily the fact or is it true, but later on you can always confirm and also validate whatever you had. So, and interview, in interviews, you are discussing something. You are not asking question and ask the interviewee to select the option. No, that's survey. That's not interview. So with interview, you discuss something. You probably discuss what's their problem with the system. You probably discuss what's their daily routine. You probably discuss what their job description and how they felt that it could be improved, for example, things like that. Okay. So in order to get the best information from interview, you need to prepare interview guide. This is document for developing, planning, and conducting interview. So what is the interview guide? First, you need to plan the interview. You need to prepare the interview. This is not an audit. This is not inspection. This is a discussion. So you need to make appointment with the interviewee. Okay. Give them general idea on what the interview are all about. This is not about auditing or inspecting their works, but this is to gain information about the system, especially the old system, and how everything was done in that environment. Okay, and probably, if possible, the interviewee could bring along documents or could demonstrate to you how certain things work. Okay, prepare agenda. Okay, the interviewee are busy doing their job, so if you ask them to set aside 1 or 2 hours of their valuable working time, you should use that optimally. Okay, you probably have a little bit of chit chat or social talk, but keep that short. Okay, you have to prepare checklist, what questions you want to ask, what information you want to gather, things like that. if it's possible, record the interview either using audio recorder or video recorder or simply using your mobile phone. However, you need to get consent. You need to get permission from the interviewee. And while even if you record the interview, you still need to listen carefully and take notes wherever information came up that you think it's interesting. Okay. So after the interview, review the notes within 48 hours. Listen to the interview recording if it's possible, or watch the interview video. Be neutral. Do not judge people. Do not accuse people of anything. Okay. You want to gather information, not deciding whether an employee is guilty or not. Okay. You are not reviewing their performance. Okay. You are finding information. Okay. So seek diverse views. Even though the view of the interviewee is different from yours, you don't have, you are not allowed to judge. Okay. So this is example of interview guide. Okay. Now, interview question. There are some interview question can be verbal and non-verbal. You can have close-ended question to ask the interviewee to choose from a set of specific response. This is just like asking the survey or questionnaire. The other part is open-ended question. Okay, question that have no pre-specified answer. Like for example, you may ask, "What do you do in your function or in your job?" Okay, what kind of responsibility? What kind of procedure in your job that has to be done? What's your early morning routine in the office? What document you handle? What's in that document? How many times you have to do this? How many times? Things like that. Okay. The problem with interviewing individual is sometimes between one individual to others, not sometimes, but most of the time, in fact, they have contradiction and inconsistencies. So you interview A and then you interview B, you find out that even though A and B working on the same job and the same responsibility, they have different view. So what you need to do in that case is to validate and have follow-up discussion. But that time consuming. Okay. So what you need to do in that case, if you find a lot of people at the same job having having different views, what you need to do is to gather them in one place and interview them as a group. It's called focus group discussion. Okay. So what the advantage? It's more effective use of time. If there is any inconsistency, if there is any contradiction, you can clarify that immediately. You can hear agreement or disagreement at once. Okay, and also this is opportunity for synergies. It means that all the users, all the stakeholders will be on the same room, and then will achieve compromise or agreement on something. Okay. The disadvantage of focus group discussion or group interview is to schedule the actual interview, because different people will have different schedules and workload, things like that. Okay. Some other technique for group interview is nominal group technique. This is to facilitate process and support idea generation by group. Okay, so this is like brainstorming. Okay. Now, the next tools to gather information is observation. You directly observe the user, for example, when they did their jobs. If you want to improve a banking system, you probably want to see how the tellers work, how the credit analysts work. Okay. So you can see what actually happened. Okay. So you will have the written procedure, you will have what the person said, but also you can see with your own eyes what actually happened. Okay. However, with direct observation, there is a limitation, which is first is called the Hawthorne effect. Hawthorne effect means the user that you observe, they knew that you were observing them, so they will change their behavior to whatever they think will be proper for your observation. Okay, and that's not the real time, not the real things, not the real activities, not the real job that they did. They change their behavior. So what you need to do is that there are two strategies. First, you have to do covert observation. I mean, using camera, for example, using CCTV or things like that. Or you can immerse with them, observing them for few days. You know that Hawthorne effect will last only few days, and after that Hawthorne effect gone, the user will return to their daily behavior, and then you can observe what actually happened. Okay, that time consuming. Okay. Next, the source of information is to analyze procedure and other document, existing business document, and you will have the formal view of the system. So this is what's supposed to happen. This is the proper procedures. Okay. And what types of information can be discovered? Problem with the existing system, opportunity to meet new need, organizational direction, who are the key individuals, value of organization, special information processing circumstances, reasons for current system design, and rules for data processing. Okay. That's the the information that you can find. Okay. Okay. This is, for example, the standard operating procedures. Okay. So what's the potential problem with procedures? You may find that some procedures involve duplication of effort, may missing some procedures, may be out of date, may contradict information obtained through interviews. Okay. Okay. So there will be two systems. The formal system, this is the system supposed to work or supposed to operate with the organizational documentation, and information, this is the actually the system work. This is the actually work or how the system actually works. Okay. There may be some shortcut being made. There's some procedure that being bypassed, or there are additional procedure not documented. That could be the source of the problem. Okay. So you need to have, like, for example, this information, the invoice. What kind of information missing from this invoice? What's the problem with this invoice that will create problem with the organization? Things like that. Okay, report, so on and so forth. Now, that's the traditional methods of gathering information for system analysis. Another new methods to determine system, there is joint application development, group support system, case tools, and system prototype. I'll start with joint application design. Remember when I told you earlier about the group interview? Joint application design is when you have some kind of corporate retreat. All the relevant stakeholders need to be invited to join this session, this joint application design, and it's supposed to be in isolation, away from the office, so they don't get interrupted by routine work. Okay. So when I was helping the Indonesian, the Australian government, and also the Ministry of Home Affairs Indonesian government to develop the new system, we had this. So we invited all the relevant stakeholders. We select at that time the AusAid selected Bogor. Bogor is quite far from Jakarta, that it requires like 2 or 3 hours traveling. It's far enough, but it's not that far. I mean, if anything, if there's emergency, they just can return to Jakarta immediately. And during 3 days retreat, all the relevant stakeholders join together to determine requirements. Okay, so this has to be isolated for extended period of time. At that time, it's just like 3 days, 4 days, not really that long. Highly focused because they can concentrate on the system development rather than interrupted by their daily work, resource intensive. And this is so this is the typical joint application design. There is all the process, the old process, the agenda, flip chart, screen, you know, the participants. Okay. So why it's created like this? So the participant could look at each other and have direct discussion. Okay. Who are the participants? The session leader. This is the moderator of the discussion. Okay. The system analyst might be the session leader, or they can appoint somebody that having skills in leading discussion or focus group discussion. Users, these are the active speaking participant. Managers, also active speaking participant. Sponsor, this is usually the higher level of management. They are attending the session to show support. Okay. If the top management or executive showing their support, their staff will likely to show support as well. System analyst, mostly they are listening. Scribe, this is the one who create the meeting minutes, and also information system should mostly listen. So what the end result? So after the discussion, all the user and all the relevant stakeholder will achieve agreement, compromise on what the detailed system should be. What's the problem? What's the weaknesses of old system, and what's the new system supposed to look? Okay. Case tools can be used to create tools, visual tools, for example, and also for documenting the process. Okay. Prototyping, sometimes, like because users usually, or stakeholder usually having difficulties expressing their concern, their need, their requirements, because sometimes it's too abstract, we could build small functioning system to show them. For example, I need a system to sell product, for example. Okay, then show them the system like point of sale system, the one that like you found in mini market, for example. Is this the one you want? Oh, no. My system will sell the product online. Oh, so it's not offline sales, but online sales. You get one requirements. Okay. So with the online system, do you want to have transaction or just showing the product? Or showing the product. So, oh, it's just for showing the product, not the transaction, for example. So then with prototype, the user can try and play with the small system, the sample, the pilot system, the sample system, and then they can express whether or not that system fulfilling their need, okay, instead of just imagining something abstract. Okay. So prototyping most useful when user requests are not clear, few users are involved in the system, design are complex and require concrete form. There is a story of communication, and there are, if you have tools readily available to build prototype. Okay. The drawback is to a tendency to avoid formal documentation and difficult to adapt to more general users. I mean, it means if you have bigger audience, that would be different. That would be difficult. Okay. I'll skip this business process engineering. Okay. And from time to time, if you remember, my first point was the characteristic of a good system analysis. From time to time, there are technology that enable the breaking long-held business rules that inhibit organization. For example, many years ago, well, not many years ago, just before the pandemic, everything need to be done in writing, especially if you dealing with bureaucracy. Now, everything done electronically. Even my signature can be attached to document electronically and it will be accepted. Okay. Everything can be done remotely, although probably not as good as if you do it directly, but considering the circumstances, that's fine. Okay. And that's disruption. Okay. I will not use this as agile for because it's similar actually with just shorter time. Okay, that's it for our material today. Any question? Anything you want to clarify? Okay, if not, that's it for today. Okay, we will meet again next week. Okay, so good morning and see you on next lecture.